Everyone. I want to start my TED Talk with this picture. And I believe many of you may have seen similar pictures to this before. And the lesson here is quite straightforward. There are normally two ways from the start point to the goal. One way is like the green one, that you work hard at the very beginning, then you enjoy a smooth growth. And another way, which is more commonly seen, is the red line, that you start with playing, and you start wasting a lot of time, and then later on, when you're halfway through the progress, you feel like that there are so many things that I haven't done, so you struggle at the second half. And I guess most people know that we need to be on the red line, we want to be the green line, not the red line, right? But many of us just cannot. So what people usually do to force themselves to be on the green line is that they make plans, like something like this. For instance, no phone until math is done. For instance, they will have a to-do list, or they will just write down like some urgent things on a piece of paper. And some of them may even just write those beautifully organized notes on a whole page for their weekend or for a single night. And you can even find many tutorials nowadays on the internet, on social media, that teach you how to make those beautiful notes. However, my question here is that, do those plans really work? Or sometimes when they do not work, is it because the one making the plan is not that disciplined and is not that efficient? Or it's because the plan itself is the problem? So here, I'm going to tell you a story about Gigi, a normal high school student. And as usual, he has wasted his Saturday playing, talking nonsense with his friends, and just staying up late playing his computer games until like 2 a.m. on Sunday. And now he felt so regretful about what he had done. He even felt guilty about his behaviors. So he started to make plans. He told himself that he must be super efficient on that Sunday, on that very last day of his weekend. So he started with a to-do list, that math past paper and economics past paper, which are the two weakest subjects for him. And then he thought about the time he had on Sunday. He really has many hours on that Sunday, so clearly 2 papers are not enough. So he added more, biology paper and chemistry paper. Then he told himself that I'm not a study machine. I need to enjoy my life. This is my well-deserved Sunday. So he adds more, like make a breakfast, play with his pet, and so on and so forth. Now this plan is started to be like something like a huge plan. Then he thinks about it again, like, come on, I've wasted my Saturday. I really need to catch up. I have to be more efficient than usual. So he just doubled the math past paper and the econ past paper. And then before going to bed, he even added the specific time period for each task to make sure that he can stick to the plan. Oh, I'm just a genius. I'm going to have a beautiful and a fantastic Sunday, he thought. Then he went to bed. But now here's the problem, that he woke up at 9:30. And that's of course since he stayed up late last night. And then now, what did he going to do? Like, he found out that, well, it's only 30 minutes for me to do that economic paper. Clearly, I'm not going to finish that. So he just played his smartphone for 30 minutes to wait until 10 a.m. And he started to do his biology past paper. Then after finishing that paper, he found out that it's already 11:30. He spent like a little bit more time on that task. Then, well, there's not enough time for him to do the chemistry paper. So he just waited until 1 p.m. to play with his pet. And the same thing happened again and again on that day. He found out that he can never be synchronized with the plan. He can never stick to the plan. And then by the end of that day, he found out that this well-made plan just made himself like a joker. And besides of that, the plan just is useless. Here's how his mental activity was like. I made a great plan. I woke up late, but I will be fine. I'm behind the time block, but I can still catch up. What? That's the end of the day. And how could this be wrong? He started to blame at himself. Like, I screwed up. I'm so useless. I'm not disciplined. And he's kind of disappointed with himself. And he's no longer confident about his plans. But does that mean he's not a good person? Does that mean he's not a disciplined person? Does that mean that he can never be productive and efficient? Well, I think the answer is no. I think here, actually the bad plan is the main reason for his failure on that Sunday. Actually, a bad plan is poisoning his discipline and efficiency. Why? The first reason is that the plan is clearly too ambitious. I guess just like Gigi, many people start making their plans only after they have wasted a lot of time, only after they're not content with what they did in the past. So they're kind of regretful. They make the plan with anger. So what they do, they make an ambitious plan to make themselves feel better. They want to assure them that with this ambitious plan, I can do much better on the next day to compensate for the time I've wasted. But as a result, it's easier for them to screw up again. And then as a result, they make a more ambitious plan. And then this is like a vicious cycle that they screw up again and again and again. And they make a plan that is even more and more and more ambitious. And they cannot just get off this vicious cycle. And what I want to say here is that the most important thing with plan making is not to make a plan that looks great. It's to make a plan that you can really finish it perfectly and completely. Even though the plan looks simple, looks there are just 1 or 2 tasks for a long period of time, if you can finish it perfectly, believe me, you will be satisfied and the feeling is so good. And then the next time you will be more confident. And as time goes, gradually you will be more comfortable with a more ambitious plan. So here's the lesson. Like, I walk slowly, but I never walk backward. Walk slowly with a small step is much better than trying to make a big step at the first step and then you'll just fall down on the ground. And the second reason is that the plan is too rigid. Recall that he added those time periods to each task, right? Like 7 a.m. to 7:30, make breakfast. Like 7:30 p.m. to 8:30 p.m., I want to practice piano. He really wants to control every single second of his day. He wants to control every single minute, which means that he's not really confident at himself. He's not even confident with himself, then how he's going to have a successful Sunday. So actually a plan it should be a light that gives you the way. It should be something that tells you what to do within a certain period of time. It should be a thing that reminds you what you have to do before a certain deadline or a certain important moment. It should not be a heavy chain like this, hanging on your neck and trying to drag you through the whole day. You are not like that. You're not like an animal that always needs someone to tell you what to do every single second. And if you try to make such a rigid plan, believe me that you are not going to follow that plan. Think about like how many minutes you spend on your lunch. You have lunch every day, right? But you cannot just tell me an exact answer in minutes, like maybe 30 minutes. No, maybe sometimes 32 minutes or maybe sometimes 25 minutes. You can even not control the time you have on lunch precisely. Then how can you just control the time you spend on a single task precisely? And then later on, if you make such a rigid plan, you will find that you're always unsynchronized with the plan. And as time goes, you won't trust your plan anymore. And you will even start feel doubtful with yourself. And that's the end of the day. And another thing is that he does not have a plan B. He did not think about what if something went wrong, then what I should do next. Here's my own story is that I used to be competing in those robotic competitions. And between the matches, as the main programmer on my team, I really had limited time to get everything done. I had to rewrite the code, I have to upload the code to the robot, and then I have to test the robot and get some data and try to analyze, try to find out the problem, and then change my code again. However, there's a certain period of time that I have to wait the code to be uploaded. It's around like 20 seconds to 30 seconds. And that time was so annoying, since technically speaking, there's nothing for me to do but waiting during that 30 seconds. And as a result, I just stare at the loading bar with anger and anxiety. However, later on, when something went wrong, when something went out unexpected, then I was totally unprepared. And as a result, I wasted even more time to thinking of a plan B that maybe I can just think about it during that waiting time. So the lesson here is that during the day, during the plan is executed, you'll find just some time you really have to wait. For instance, wait for a video to be downloaded, or wait for a taxi, or wait for a subway. Just use that waiting time wisely. And just use that time to reflect upon the things you have done before, or just review the things you are going to do next, or even just think about plan B if something that went wrong. And here, the last and the most important thing here is that actually the one really matters is you at present, you living in this second, living in this instant, not the you in the past, nor the you in the future. Since actually the past you has no binding force on the present you. For instance, yesterday you wasted a lot of time looking at your phone, watching those fun videos before going to bed. You know it's bad, so told yourself that I'm not going to do that in the future. This is definitely my last time. Then today, when you go to bed, you'll feel like I really want to have that again. And you'll find that the word you told yourself yesterday has no binding force on you. Since if it's really the last time, then do not even let the last time happen, right? So the same thing also applies to the plan. The plan you made yesterday actually has no binding force on you now. The one that really determines what kind of person you are is the one living in this world at this every second. So if you really want to be a person with a clear plan, be a person that is efficient and disciplined, just be that kind of person every single second. Do not only be that kind of person only when you are making that plan. So if you really get something to do, if you really know what you want to do, the best approach is to just do it now.